Now, your Storm Tracker 13 forecast first, sponsored by George Sink Injury Lawyers.
Our hot, humid weather continues across the area today, but no rain. Viper 13 real-time radar is dry right now. We may see an isolated shower around this evening, but most of us will stay dry. And temperatures well up into the 90s, mid to upper 90s right now, even along the coast. It is sizzling hot. Our forecast overnight tonight, we will stay partly cloudy, warm and muggy temperatures in the 70s to around 80, and it heats right back up again tomorrow. I'll have a look at how long this hot weather is going to last coming up.
Coverage you can count on at 5 starts now.
Right now on News 13 at 5, we're learning new details of a hit and run near Coastal Carolina University that left 2 people in the hospital. Count on a live report. And we'll share what investigators are now saying about human remains found in Bennettsville. Thanks for joining us for News 13 at 5. I'm Adriana Lawrence. New tonight, we're learning more about a crash that left 2 Coastal Carolina University students seriously injured over the weekend. Police say the driver was impaired, speeding, and left the scene after hitting 2 women. And now we know that 17-year-old Mauricio Palafox Correa will be charged as an adult. News 13's Morgan Baker is live in Conway. And Morgan, you just spoke with the 15th Circuit solicitor about the case.
Adriana, I spoke with Jimmy Richardson, who says because this is a case of DUI involving great bodily injury, the defendant will be tried as an adult due to a state statute. According to a police report and arrest warrant News 13 obtained today, 2 21-year-old women were crossing Highway 544 near Elvington Loop just after midnight Sunday when they were hit by a car. Police say the driver, Mauricio Palafox Correa, was traveling above the posted 40-mile-per-hour speed limit and was impaired. He left the scene and was later detained after a separate crash. He faces 2 counts of felony DUI resulting in great bodily injury and 2 counts of hit and run involving great bodily injury.
If it were to have been a normal DUI and nobody got hurt, he would have been charged as a juvenile. But it really is based on the sentencing guidelines, and for better or worse, that's how South Carolina does it statutorily.
Coming up tonight at 6, I'll have a look at the history of hit and run reports on Coastal Carolina's campus near Highway 544 since 2016. Reporting live in Conway, Morgan Baker, News 13.
Morgan, thank you. Florence County deputies are asking for your help after a man was shot multiple times at a nightclub earlier this month. Deputies responded to Uncle Willie's on West Dixie Street on August 9th, where one person was taken to a hospital to be treated for serious gunshot wounds. Deputies say no one at the scene was able to provide any relevant information. Anyone with information is asked to call the Florence County Sheriff's Office. Horry County Police say a person is in custody after an hours-long standoff with officers in the Nichols area. The incident happened just before 9 this morning in the area of Spring Branch Road. The person was taken into custody shortly before 1 p.m. No additional information, including the person's name or charges, was immediately available. New details tonight about human remains found in a Bennettsville trash receptacle that was recently identified. Those remains belong to LaShonda Spurlock of Chesterfield County. She was reported missing back in 2024. News 13's Eric Cooper is live in Bennettsville. And Eric, what have you learned about this case today?
Well, Adriana, Spurlock's cause of death has not been determined yet. Marlboro County Coroner De'Aaron Smith says after 2 years and only skeletal remains, the cause of death may come back inconclusive. Back in April, Spurlock's remains were found at the Evergreen Court Apartments in Bennettsville, just behind the Bennettsville Police Department. Police later arrested Luke Douglas Jr. after he admitted to putting Spurlock's decomposed body in a storage area before disposing of the remains. According to a police report, workers collecting trash found remains inside one of the trash cans and noticed bones of an adult. Police arrived to find in the trash can what they described as a femur and a human skull. Douglas is believed to have been the last person to see Spurlock alive. Now, Coroner Smith says they hope to release more information about the cause of death possibly next week. But again, with there only being skeletal remains, they are unsure if that will be helpful. Reporting live in Bennettsville, Eric Cooper, News 13.
Eric, thank you. Charlotte Douglas International Airport officials are preparing for a future light rail stop near the air transportation hub, but the train won't be stopping at the front door. Caroline Bowyer shares the details of the plans that are in the very early stages right now.
The idea is the light rail stop will be about a mile away from the airport along Wilkinson Boulevard. Riders will have to get off the train, get on what's called an automated people mover, and take about a 7-minute ride to the terminal. Whether they live in Charlotte,
I think it would be super efficient in getting people here quicker, faster, avoid the traffic.
or are just frequent flyers.
It's a little chaotic, isn't it? Yeah, right now, especially when you're coming in at night.
Many people traveling through Charlotte Douglas International Airport are excited about the future Silver Line bringing a light rail stop nearby.
Charlotte traffic is insane, and so a light rail would be amazing. Like any way to get to the airport faster and get to your flight faster would be amazing.
The train won't go to the airport's front door because that would get in the way of future terminal expansion plans. Instead, Charlotte Area Transit System officials plan to put the stop near Wilkinson Boulevard in the area that will become the destination district. The development could eventually include restaurants, retail, a hotel, and more. The light rail station could include things like check-in and bag tag kiosks, luggage carts, bike racks, and concessions. An automated people mover similar to these options that move about 20 miles per hour would take people to and from the terminal.
That's what we have in Minnesota, so that's ideal.
Jay Kistler visits Charlotte frequently from Minneapolis and looks forward to when he may be able to utilize light rail for airport transit.
If I were meeting someone in Charlotte, I would definitely use it.
Travelers say it beats paying top dollar for ride shares.
We're waiting on an Uber right now, and it's taking a long time to come.
I prefer that to Lyft or relying on somebody else for a ride.
And that was Caroline Bowyer reporting. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says their beach renourishment project along the Grand Strand is now complete. As of last week, the agency completed the Coastal Storm Risk Management Project, placing more than 1.5 million cubic yards of sand across the coastline to widen the shorelines and reinforce the Grand Strand's defenses. The agency says all sections that underwent the renourishment are now open to the public. Coastal Carolina football fans will once again feast for free. The CCU kickoff meal deal is returning to Brooks Stadium for the 2026 season. As part of the program, fans can select from a bunch of concession items, including hot dogs, nachos, popcorn, and fountain drinks. You're allowed one of each item per visit to a designated concession stand with unlimited trips. All you have to do is show your game ticket. Free concessions ends with the third quarter, along with alcohol sales.
News 13 on-time traffic, sponsored by Joy Law Firm. Just call Joy.
And traffic is slow at times right now on 501 between CCU and Carolina Forest. Nothing too unusual for this time of day. Also a couple of slowdowns on 544. Drive times along the Grand Strand on 501 from Carolina Forest to CCU. That'll take 14 minutes, 17 in both directions along the Grand Strand. That's moving a little bit slower than normal. Florence area looking okay. No problems in town right now. I-95 moving along nicely. Currently on 95 from TV Road to 76. That'll take 10 minutes. Palmetto from 5 Points to Irby Street will take 5 minutes. And 52 from Palmetto to I-95 will take 7 minutes.
Thank you. And President Trump announcing that he will hold a rally this Friday in support of Senator Darlene Graham's run for the U.S. Senate. The event will be held at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center at 7 p.m. and you can visit our website WBTW.com for more details. A marquee midterm race for Senate Democrats is heating up. Democrats are hopeful Senator Jon Ossoff can win against Republican Congressman Mike Collins in the closely watched Georgia Senate race. Washington correspondent Margaret Chadbourne has more.
See, he doesn't want to do the job. He wants to build his ballroom and travel with Natalie on their apparently defenseless flying palace gifted by the Emir of Qatar.
Senator Jon Ossoff took a jab at President Donald Trump on the campaign trail outside of Atlanta. The Democrat, in a tight re-election bid against Republican Congressman Mike Collins, laid into the president's handling of the war with Iran, accused him of sleeping through meetings, and took aim at a little-known White House aide, Natalie Harp, the president's executive assistant who has become increasingly visible at his side. The moment went viral and led to name-calling from the Oval Office.
Mr. President, yesterday Jon Ossoff said you'd rather travel with your aide, Natalie Harp, and build the ballroom than do your job as president. What is your response to Jon Ossoff?
You mean Pee Wee Herman? Pee Wee Herman look-alike? No, I would much rather do other things.
More Democrats are expected to follow Ossoff's lead and make the president central to their campaigns ahead of November, especially as polls show the president is growing less popular with voters.
The election in 2026 gives us an opportunity to take a run at and to win one of those seats in Georgia, and we're going to do everything we can to do that.
Ossoff is currently leading in polls over Collins, a close ally of the president, with the contest expected to tighten as the midterms approach. Democrats have little hope of winning the Senate if Ossoff can't hold his seat in Georgia, a state President Trump won by just over 2 points in 2024. Margaret Chadbourne, News Nation, Washington.
And temperatures back in the 90s today with heat index values well over 100. I'll have a look at how long this hot weather is going to last coming up.